that you were born with. It's true. Sometimes you do. Sometimes you have these gifts that you were born with, things that you recognize, that you realize, but you have to hone these skills. You have to develop your skills. When you develop your skills, you have to apply what you develop. So, when you think about, just thinking about, the title of the show, are you from the past? And do you self reflect? But are you from the past, existing in the present? We're spiritual beings. I like to explain that and tell people that a lot. We're spiritual beings having a human experience. So let's just take a walk through. Let's rephrase some elements, because a lot of times you have this mental memory, and then you also have physical memory. So let's just take a little walk through it a little bit. You know what I'm saying? You think about it. Just have a real thought. Are we just modern bodies, or are we living expressions of our ancestors? Does your body remember what you does your body remember what your mind forgets? Think about it. Trauma, habits, survival traits can be passed down if you allow them to. But they can be passed down. But the thing about it is, you have these hypertensions, you have these ways, your fears, your instincts, the reflexes. You might not even, it starts with the fear of authority. Your hyper awareness. You know what I mean? Things like that. You got to have a survival mindset. Things that you just remember. Sometimes y'all think you're reacting, but what if that's memory? When you're reactionary, sometimes if it's memory, especially if it saves your life, if it saves you, if you're able to, pivot somewhere else with your whole situation and make it successful. But also, you know, uh, if you're in an act or in a situation of danger, that memory can save your life. That subconscious reaction can save your life for real. So repeating, family cycles too. We always think about how we're raised and how we distribute, our behaviors, and how we overreact or just react. Period. We always have to think about that reactionary place, because is it poverty? Is it relationship patterns, emotional suppression, all of which can have an effect on how you respond, to how you interact with people. And when it's almost like exchanging. And when you exchange with people, some people try to compare, and you're not asking for a comparison. You're just asking sometimes for someone to listen. You're not asking for advice. You just need someone to hear, vice versa. Exchanges begin with a concept of thought that you collaborate on to have a positive outcome, or an outcome. There has to be an outcome, but it should be positive. But that depends on you. It's some things have to do with behavioral inheritances as well. So, in some instances, you don't get you're not aware of your behavior, so you just behave subconsciously, not trying to develop the real elements of yourself. But cultural memory, is extremely powerful as well, because you got to think about language patterns, music, rhythm, style, expressions. It's the differentiation, cultural differentiations. So even without being taught, people gravitate towards ancestral culture. But it's the It's also the environments that you grew up in that make you gravitate to what's also in your survival and what you would do to survive. It's a big difference, especially being applied to, you know, people coming to America. What you consume, the way you live your lives, the way your patterns. Some things have to change, and some things that you want to remain, even being from an outside environment. All of these things have to do with reflecting on your past and how you can't let certain things go, even when your everyday lives or your everyday, interactions with people and other kinds of people. You always have the expression to let someone know who you are, where you come from. Some people are ashamed. I don't know why. I don't have that. I don't have a connection with someone being ashamed of where they come from. I think that's I think that's a problem because you're not really dealing with um, you're dealing with fantasy at that point. It's a fantasy. You want to fulfill a fantasy, a falsehood, a false way of life, a false way of being, a false way of operating. That's fantasy. That's not reality. That's fantasy. So when you want to fulfill a fantasy on the account of exploitation, that's exactly what colonization is, in essence, because you want your fantasy, but not a reality. Because if you wanted your reality, you could go back to your homelands. You could retrieve, the things that you need. Haven't you learned enough in foreign places or spaces? But what if you're not even welcome back home because of the deeds that you've done and how you've double crossed or, trampled over people in your homelands? Is that because you have the same behavior that you basically took there and brought here to a new place? Same behaviors. So that would make you a problem wherever you go. Maybe you're not welcome back in your homeland, and you're not welcome in places that you have taken advantage of. That should be a problem too. But let's pivot though. We're gonna get to the other sides of these equations. Stand up, sugar baby. Come on, stand up. My daughter, she looks like a great, great, great deal of people. She looks like my father's mother. She looks like my mother at times. She looked like her cousins from both sides. My mother, her mother, and her mother, and my side of the family. She has just a beautiful blending. Look, baby, look at the look. Yeah, she has a beautiful blended uh, way of looking because she is who she is. So, what you want to say to the people?
I got a new tooth.
Oh, it's coming in. All right. All right. Give me some sugar. Can I have some? Can I have some sugar? Oh, give me some sugar. Give me some sugar. Yeah, yeah,
Right
yeah.
here. I want to go see the comet.
Go ahead. Just got to go see the comments. Okay. So anyway, back to the show. Let's get to the next side. The next side of the show. We want to tap into the spiritual side. We want to tap into when we talk about are you from the past. Now we got to do a little self reflecting for real. If you think about uh, you know, let me get my comments on display. Let me get the chat going. Matter of fact, see if I can get YouTube chat going. See if we got some people coming on chat. Show chat. All right. Anyway, okay, let's get back to it. All right. So you have to think about your ancestors' lives. Your ancestors living through you. As I explained, I think it was yesterday when I was on YouTube. Not YouTube. I was on TikTok talking to some people. We was wrapping it up. We was chopping it up real good about a lot of subjects, and it was we had a good time, very good time. But also, we were just discussing um, who you come from as a person, and I've also brought this up a few times on the show, and that's with basically what your makeup is, and who you come from. So, like, if I know I'm from Pensacola, Florida, which I tell you all the time where I'm from, I'm not ashamed of where I'm from. I'm from Pensacola, Florida. That's my people from. I was born Sacred Heart Hospital in Pensacola, Florida. And I also um, lived there for a decade of my whole life until we moved to Columbus, Georgia, which I spent a great deal of my adolescence. I had a good time. Met a lot of people. That's family. I still got people there that I call family this very day because I grew up with them. I've been knowing them my whole life, the majority of my whole life. So you move around places. Then you go in. I went in the Marine Corps. My Marine Corps brothers, my whole life. You know what I'm saying? That's my people. That's who I rock with. That's what it was. You know what I'm saying? That's who. You know, I salute. You know what I'm saying? That's my dogs. You know what I'm saying? We brothers. You know what I mean? So, but then there's that other side. It's your ancestors who lived through you. See, the one person in you is two people. Two people becomes 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128, 200, 256. You got 512. You got 1,024, 2,048. You got 4,096, and so on and so forth. That's how many people that you come from. That's what make up the one you. All right, Shikaboo, go get out of there. Come on with your little bonnet on. I'm doing my show. You want to keep distracting me?
No.
All right, well, go
I
back.
just want to listen. I want to see that.
I need you to go. You're distracting me. Go.
Okay, sorry.
All right, baby. Love you. Okay, now here we are. All right, so the thing is, another way of understanding what I'm trying to convey. What's going on, brother? I'm doing the show. You want to be on the show? All right, I call you back. All right, yes, sir. All right, so another aspect of how you think about, if you have existed before, if you've been around, you know, it has been discovered with countless people that they have had dreams, experiences. They have had real life experiences. Answers have been questions has been answered through their dreams, through their spiritual connections with other realms. You know what I mean? Human beings are. You got indigo children. You got people with special gifts. You got people that have, different a different tune, a characterization about themselves. They have different elements about themselves. Born with it, just blessed, and I'm happy to know that I've ran account. I've encountered quite a few um, spiritually. I consider myself a person that can see and connect. I don't try to add too many self-induced or self-proclaimed elements to myself. I'm just letting you know I can see too. I have feelings too. So people can equate that with special gifts, but I think it's things that you are supposed to develop. If you have a gift, you develop it, you hone it, but you also have to develop around it. You got to develop certain elements with yourself to actually make that gift, excuse me, help you develop your gift, help you see the purpose of developing your gift. It's very important because if it's a gift, that means it comes from, one of those people that I've named. and how many elements and people, singularity, those are singularity numbers. Your mother and your father, they have their differences. And the same person that you are, the unique character being that you are, it's the same unique character being that you came from. And if you can help, even with your parents, or you can help your siblings, if you can help your children realize how unique they are, then you can perhaps help them become the best version of themselves. That's how generation works, even with oral tradition. So some people have the same struggles, different eras, same system, different names, and same emotional wounds. All of these things that you connect with, and those cycles of life that you evolve on, you identify, and you have to question specific things like who were people in pictures. I used to ask my grandmother that all the time. Who was this? All the pictures she covers her walls in pictures. So you have to go say, who was that in this picture? Well, that's such and such. You kind of remind me of them because, they went in the military at such age, and they kind of lived. You kind of got their ways. So you talk to your parents, and I tell you again, my pops used to always tell me, you like Will Laster. My mom used to tell me, you like Will Crosby. I'm like, man, what is it about them? So then you'll understand. They start describing um, stories. They start letting you know what kind of character they had. They let you know the events that they participated in or that they caused, how dynamic they were of a character. Now, can you say these things are true or false? No, you're being told a story. But then you can know if they're true or false just how many times you hear it the same way, the same way it's phrased, the same verberations, the same highlights and low points. When you know when someone's going to cry, when you know they're shedding tears because their memory has either made them believe this story or this story is so true that they can never let it go. And they want you to know what they know because they want you to remember it too. So that dynamic, that expression should give you the appreciation of holding on to that same story as well. That's the purpose. And that's the reason of oral tradition. Things translate different orally. They pierce to your core, your heart. They have a way in you, through you. They grow you, they purify you. The words from your elders shape you. When they look you in your eyes and you look them back in theirs, they can tell you how long, how good, how well, and how purposeful your life is going to be just by looking in your soul through your eyes. That's what you should understand about the reason why you don't throw away old people, not the good ones. You don't even throw away the bad ones because the bad ones can teach you the most valuable lessons of all, what not to be. And they funny as hell. And they can also tell you the truth because they'll let you know if you're going to end up like them or not. And that's what it is. So, yeah, let's get back to some more. Let's get back to the past versus the present tension. Let's get to that. Sometimes you got to put yourself in a. You got to give yourself the ability to carry strength forward Everything that you have experienced, it could have been a negative experience or a positive experience. Regardless of the situation, carry the strength that you gain from it forward. That's what should mean everything to you because that's the lesson.